So I've named the painting behind me Viceroy, after one of the famous tulips that was sold at auction in the Dutch speculative bubble of the year 1636 to 1637, which we now know as Tulip Mania. Obviously, it was Tulip Mania because who doesn't love tulips? We are used to tulips. They're like everywhere. You can get them in Safeways, you can get them in Trader Joe's, they're everywhere in the spring. But in those days, they were very novel because they'd just been imported during the 16th century. The first tulips started to arrive from the Ottoman Empire. Interestingly enough, that whole period of history was when tomatoes, bell peppers, they were also introduced. And so the idea for Northern Europe to suddenly have beautiful colored flowers and a wonderful range of new vegetables was intoxicating to people. And you can imagine how amazing it was for them. And so artists started painting these tulips, and speculators drove up their price till one, Augustus Semper, was sold for, I don't know, like 4,200 guilders, which was the price of like 10, 15 times the price of an annual laborer's wage at the time. And the market for tulips seemed to be absolutely unstoppable. Everybody climbed in and was like buying and selling tulips, but the market was subject to so many difficulties. It was unproven, it was new, and the supply couldn't keep up with the demand. And all these tulips that people were ordering based on next year's harvest were paid for, but they were never delivered because something else happened at the time. And that was called the bubonic plague, which struck Haarlem in the spring of 1637 and totally wiped out the market. The price plunged, went off a cliff, the whole thing went to the dogs, and the bubble was burst and everybody lost a fortune. So I've named this piece Viceroy after Tulip Mania. Maybe there are lessons we can learn today for market speculation, bubbles, plagues, pandemics, I don't know. But one of the things that I have found through all of these, no matter how bad the plague, through it all, the vein of nature runs like a rich river of beauty and of freshness. And although so many people lost a fortune during Tulip Mania, think how much beauty was brought into the world. Think how much delight and how much fun was set loose on the world. And I like to think that Viceroy teaches us and reminds us that there's always more good than there is bad in the world, and light always triumphs in the end.